Is a cut in air traffic starting tomorrow due to a shortage of controllers. President of the Airline Pilots Association International, Captain Jason Ambrosi, is calling for lawmakers to reopen the government.
You know, we're over 4 weeks into a shutdown where these folks that are responsible for air safety, for our safety, the safety of the traveling and shipping public, are asked to work without a paycheck.
On Fox is The Story with Martha McCallum. Airlines will phase in the cuts at the direction of the FAA, with 4% starting tomorrow and 10% by next week. Meanwhile, the Senate no closer to passing a measure that would end the shutdown, which is now in day 37.
Earlier this week, it was thought that the Senate might craft a spending deal and coax Democratic senators to vote yes, but Democrats appear emboldened after Tuesday's election results.
Fox's Chad Pergam on Capitol Hill. The House passed the stopgap funding measure in September. Wall Street major indexes lost ground after tech stocks fell. The Dow lost 398, the Nasdaq off 445, the S&P minus 75, and Tesla shareholders have approved a package that can make Elon Musk the first trillionaire. America's listening to Fox News.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The yellow light! I'm walking here!
Good afternoon and welcome to the Jason Rantz Show. We are here on Seattle Red 770 AM. We are streaming on the Seattle Red app. Some big news for people who want to inject themselves with drugs to make them puke and poop until they lose 1,000 pounds. Courtesy of the Trump administration, we'll tell you what happened. But first, we now have a better idea as to whether or not the FAA cuts are going to impact SeaTac Airport. The answer is yes. Yes, it will. And that's what's trending. Brought to you by Legacy Group Capital, Common Sense Lending.
What's trending? Travel.
So yesterday, of course, we got news from Sean Duffy, the Transportation Secretary, along with TSA, that they were going to be limiting or making some limits to air travel around the country based on safety concerns, where you've got a government shutdown, you've got a lot of people who are not getting paid, they're not all coming to work, some are taking time off at the air traffic control centers around the country, which makes total sense. I understand it. But obviously, when you have fewer of those staff members, it is more dangerous to fly. And so they said we're going to have to make some flight reductions. And we've already seen what the cancellations and delays have meant before the FAA plan has even gone into effect, because we've seen the staffing crises hit around the country. There have been reports of people waiting 2 hours just to get on their flight, which, you know, depending on where it is you're flying out of, it's really out of the ordinary or a little out of the ordinary. But they obviously want to get ahead of any serious safety issues. Here's the FAA Administrator, Brian Bedford.
When we see pressures building in these 40 markets, we just can't ignore it, and we're not going to wait for a safety problem to truly manifest itself when the early indicators are telling us we can take action today to prevent, things from deteriorating.
That's a laudable goal. Yes, it's also, to me, reasonable. And I heard that, some folks are saying, I bet you the only airports that get impacted here are going to be coming from blue cities and blue states, blue regions of the country. This is to punish the Democrats. And then I looked at the list of 40, nope, Orlando's on that list. Dallas-Fort Worth is on that list. But also, Portland and Seattle are on the list. We are also going to be impacted. To the degree that we will be impacted, we don't know. Long-term versus short-term. What we're hearing from the Port of Seattle, because remember, in fairness to the Port of Seattle and SeaTac Airport, for example, they don't have control over this. This is FAA. FAA has control. This is not anything at the local level where they're the ones who are saying we're going to cancel X, Y, and Z. They do say that the flights will be canceled or reduced gradually, as opposed to just tomorrow waking up and saying 10% of all the flights have been canceled. That's not what is expected, but we do expect between 3,500 and 4,000 flights nationwide will end up getting cut as a result of this. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy this morning was on Fox and Friends and said this is the only option we really have.
This morning, they're getting their pay stubs that they're going to get another big fat zero, no paycheck for the second time. They've all told me it's really hard to navigate a full month of no pay, missing 2 pay periods. So I think you're going to have more significant disruptions in the airspace. And as we come into Thanksgiving, if we're still in the shutdown posture, it's going to be rough out there, really rough.
So United, Southwest, they are both offering refunds to any traveler who has a scheduled flight on their airline. They say whether or not their flights are impacted, you can make the choice at this point, even if your flight isn't directly impacted, to cancel and get that refund. I presume that's out of, from the traveler's perspective, just out of caution, because you don't know if you end up flying to, say, Orlando for the holidays and have your flight back end up getting canceled. Or maybe you're split, that you're taking Southwest one way and then, Delta or Alaska the other way. So they're giving out that option. We haven't yet heard from Alaska Airlines. I'm assuming everyone's going to give you a refund on flights that are canceled. They're not going to hold on to that. That would be a huge nightmare for them to do. We know that there are a lot of people who are caught up in the chaos. I am supposed to go, I think, to New York next week for just a quick visit for TV, but I don't know if that's going to happen as a result of this. I've got vacation coming up for Thanksgiving, and God forbid the shutdown continues, it's likely going to have some sort of impact on my flight. There was one couple speaking to Como at SeaTac. They're going to New Jersey for their son's graduation, and they're like, please, God, don't make us get stuck in New Jersey. Of all places to be stuck, this is what you're doing to me? What did I do to deserve this? Why?
We actually looked up backup flights through United in the event that we had to fly into a different airport. Well, we're really nervous just because Newark has had a lot of the airline delays, a lot of canceled flights. I think probably a lot of people are not going to be traveling or rethinking travel arrangements, not knowing how long this is going to drag on.
I'd be nervous. I'm nervous, and I'm not even impacted yet.
To be clear, though, that's just Newark on a normal day.
Yeah, that is fair. It's one of those things. Well, how could you tell there's a shutdown at Newark? It always feels this way. Although I will say Newark is not as bad as it used to be. I remember flying there.
I've actually never been. I've just heard it's awful.
It was awful. It has gotten better, at least as of like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. Whenever I was last in New York, I think one of the flights was via Newark, and it was fine. JFK is just a nightmare all the time, it feels like. And again, this might end up impacting me or canceling my trip next week. We'll see. I hope that this is all figured out. We know that tomorrow there will be a 14th vote to end the shutdown. The bill is being introduced by the Senate Majority Leader John Thune, and he said earlier today during a lunch that they're going to push the same continuing resolution just one more time to see whether or not now post-election anything has changed. He says, the Hill says Thune is putting it on the floor with an eye toward amending it to attach a 3-bill spending package known as a minibus that has been part of negotiations with Democrats. This according to a Senate GOP aide. The bill would also include a new end date of sometime in January rather than November 21st that was included in the House measure. Also at the center of the bipartisan negotiations has been a vote on the expiring Obamacare subsidies. We don't know whether or not that's going to be included, or if it is included, what it actually looks like. What we've heard in the past is the Senate basically saying, we'll just give you a straight up or down vote on this, and so at least everyone's on the record as to whether or not they're going to support the subsidies. Now, it's possible, depending on the process, if they do add to the CR, this minibus, if they add to it, that could mean the shutdown continues for several days, even if it has support, because one or two people can object. And, you then at that point have to send it back to the House. So this is not going to be the just one vote and it's done, but this at least creates a pathway for that. Again, I hope that happens. There are a lot of people who hope that happens because no one wants to continue with all this nonsense. You've got a government that shut down. Today was day 37, I believe. That's insane. And the Democrats have given no indication that I've seen, at least publicly, that they're willing to end this yet. None. And they're not getting the pressure that they deserve. It should be singular pressure on the Democrats to vote for this CR, period. It should be 100% pressure campaign coming from all media outlets. They're the ones who are responsible. But because it's not getting pursued that way and that message is not being amplified, across the board at least, and with any sense of shame or urgency from the media against Democrats, they continue to take this position that what it is they're doing isn't that big of a deal. It's not their doing anyway. It's the Republicans. It's nonsense. It's a lie. We know it. Will it end? I don't know. We'll find out soon. Let's find out what else is trending.
What's trending in Trumplandia?
Well, this will make people happy, presumably, whether or not someone is on Ozempic or Wegovy or wants to be on. Donald Trump today made the announcement at the Oval Office. Dr. Mehmet Oz was there as well, that he and his administration reached a deal to lower the cost of the GLP-1 weight loss drugs, specifically Wegovy and Zepbound. So not Ozempic. Wegovy, I believe, is one that you can use, or at least it was initially done specifically for diabetes. Zepbound, in addition to the weight loss stuff, it also is used for sleep apnea, which really just is tied to the weight loss effect of the drug. And under the deal, the monthly out-of-pocket cost of the drug could be anywhere from $50 to $350. You know what it used to cost? I still remember this because we covered it last year when all of a sudden everyone was thinking about this drug because it actually works to cut down on appetite. It was somewhere between, depending on the drug, $1,300 and $1,500, which is insane because it's not covered by insurance for weight loss, for obesity. It's covered if you've got diabetes. And so in that case, it was already cheap. But the ironic part about this, you would argue an insurance company should cut the price of a drug that will help prevent diabetes from happening, which in the long term has to be way more expensive for them to cover than this drug.
A bunch of people out there going like, I'm just going to get even fatter so then I do get diabetes, and then they'll cover it.
More ice cream, please. More bad fats, please. Just put it in my mouth. Come on. Give me the seed oils. Let me get it. And so this is obviously a pretty significant move. And yes, insurance coverage would change. Here is at least part of the announcement from the president.
Today I'm thrilled to announce that the two world's largest...
Can we not set up a microphone at the desk? Can you not put it on the Resolute desk? Is that like against... The Democrats are going to say we're shaming history.
We can't afford it. The government shut down.
Yeah, that's fair.
Pharmaceutical manufacturers, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, have agreed to offer their most popular GLP-1 weight loss drug. I call it the fat drug, remember?
The fat drug.
At
the anti-fat drug.
Discounts. They're very effective drugs. So far, I've never heard anything bad about them. I only hear good about them. Is there anything bad about them, Bob? Yeah, I haven't heard it.
Yes, I've heard lots of horrible things about them, specifically the side effects. Now, I don't know if it's one of those things that applies to absolutely everyone. I remember looking into this, or I listened to a podcast a while ago, and the criticism that some have leveled against this drug, if you're not doing it, quote unquote, correctly, the doctor will basically say, hey, we'll start you on whatever the smallest dosage is. It's hard to just say dose. Then after I think a month or so, it goes to whatever the next highest level is until it gets to whatever the top level is, whatever that happens to be. But you might think you're okay on the low level from a side effect standpoint, but then the second you go maybe to the second level or the third level or the fourth, whatever it is, then all of a sudden you're just like uber nauseous and you're puking all the time and you're going, the other way a lot. And as a result, you just don't want to eat anymore, which is because I've heard some people say, it cuts down the so-called food noise. Like your brain isn't telling you eat, eat, eat. But I'm wondering, and some of the speculation was, well, is it don't eat? Is that what your body is telling you? Or is it saying you're so sick to your stomach right now that you're nauseous for, 72 hours after every single dose that you just choose not to eat? And, that is a way to lose weight. That is not a healthy way to lose weight, if that's, in fact, the issue. And that was more of the criticism was people are just not eating all that much, even if it is not due to the side effects. Well, you need the nutrients that you're no longer getting, and you end up losing a whole bunch of muscle, not just fat. And if you're losing a whole bunch of muscle, that's very unhealthy. And it's, again, one of those drugs where if you don't do it the right way, if you stop, you end up gaining, if not all the weight back, even more. But obviously, it does work, and I think you just have to find a doctor who's capable of tracking it with you and not just say, hey, my general practitioner, give me the fat drug. And they're like, oh, here. And then not follow up and not new nutrition advice. But this is still good news in the grand scheme of things because it can help to make people healthier. And Trump points out that this is an unprecedented price reduction.
We go from $1,300 to $149 a month. We anticipate these new versions will be coming out in a very short period of time. All of these drugs will be available directly to the consumer at trumprx.gov. Trump, they want to use my name. Trump, it better be good. trumprx.gov. And I think
it crashed. I think it's still down, actually. I'm on the site now. It was never up or at least capable of handling the rush.
It's turning out to be pretty amazing, right? Just as significantly, Medicare and Medicaid will finally cover the cost of these weight loss drugs for millions of patients suffering from obesity. Copays for Medicare patients will be as low as $50. This is tremendous news for the American seniors. And you all remember when I had 1/8 of 1% for the year. I cut it 1/8, and I was so thrilled. But now we're cutting it 1,000%, 1,200%. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. Nobody else could have done it, but I say that modestly.
He's not wrong, right?
I mean, no one did do it, so
exactly. I mean, we keep hearing about and this is one of those. It's like the version of an 80-20 issue, because there are people who want, if they can self-inject, which I can't do that, right? I can't stick myself with a needle.
You're squeamish.
You wouldn't be squeamish doing that? I guess if it's the pen, like an EpiPen thing, that's a lot easier. But a syringe, oh God, no.
I think I could do it. I wouldn't feel. I'd feel a little
every week doing it though, because isn't it a weekly injection?
I think so. Yeah.
Can't they just come up with a pill form?
Yeah, I know. You would think,
right? And could you just syringe the liquid into your mouth, and you can't do it that way? That's not fair.
It's got to get into your bloodstream.
That doesn't. It can't pass through.
I guess
now there was some irony of what happened today. Although I will say everyone kind of seemed fit in the White House, right, during this announcement. But
you had RFK, you had Oz there.
Yeah. Problem though, there were some people who were a little old, and and one of them is the executive from Novo Nordisk, Gordon Findlay, who ended up fainting while the CEO of Eli Lilly, David Ricks, was speaking.
But today we... Oh, you okay?
Uh-oh. No, he's not okay.
Gordon, you okay?
No, he's falling over, dummy.
Yeah.
They're taking him to the ground. They usher, which was respectful. They should have ushered everyone else out, and they did. If you're going to faint at one of these events, to do it in front of Dr. Oz is probably, you know what I mean? Now, I have some theories.
You're in capable hands.
100%, because Dr. Oz came to my rescue when I was doing a CPAC event that I was the moderator for, and he was on my panel. Really nice guy, by the way. I've always liked Dr. Oz, but also he's the kind of person who does text me back when I send him texts, even when he's important. He texted me the other day. And I was feeling nauseous from, I ate, I'm pretty sure it was chicken that I ate that was not fully cooked at the hotel the night before. And I was up all night puking. And he helped me get, I forget the name of the drug, but it was some anti-nausea stuff
I remember
that I
this,
took.
yeah.
And it knocked it out in like 20 minutes. And I was like, oh, you're the best. I like you. It's good to know doctors. It was between him and Dr. Jeanette Neshwat. Both were helping me at the time. So he's there. He's helping the guy. And Dr. Oz is a legit doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's not, yes, he
was on TV.
He was on TV, but he's an actual legit doctor. And I suspect Gordon did this intentionally because I think he had already spoken or didn't want Eli Lilly to get any love.
I thought it was just because he was so blown away by the announcement that he was like,
just
$50?
too much. Like,
Wow.
what? Why did I agree to this? And then he passes out. He is fine. It was just, he just had a fainting spell, it sounds like. And they say, they told the press, he got a little lightheaded. That's all. They sent him out. He got doctors here, but he's fine. So that's good news. They don't know what caused it. My guess is he didn't eat because he's taking the drug and he got lightheaded, and that's why you need to eat.
This is why you always tell people to have a seat when you give them big news, right?
I do like the idea of him saying, wait a minute. I did not agree to this. We said down to $50. Why would we do that? I don't even like $3.50. This thing costs us an arm and a leg. I thought we agreed to $500. Did the president just go rogue and put us on the spot? And now we can't walk it back. What if that happened? Wouldn't you love Donald Trump even more?
That's the art of the deal right there.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm going to get you in the wall. What are they going to do? They're getting all this praise, all this love.
You're going to call me a liar? I'm the president.
Right, but seriously, I wonder if that's ever happened. And if it's going to happen, Trump might be the one who does it. In any case, do I love the idea, or should any of us love the idea of people immediately jumping on this? Probably not. I don't know. There's not a stigma attached to it the way that there probably was last year, but there's still a stigma to this drug, right?
Yeah.
To a degree, because what does it assume? Laziness. That you're unwilling to do the work. And I say this as someone who's been doing the work, right? I'm not cheating, and it does kind of feel like cheating. I don't care, by the way. Like, if I could stomach any of the side effects, because I'm not good. I get a lot of supplements, but I don't take medications almost ever. The only medication I take is for my asthma. And even that I don't take as often as I probably should. Like, if I could do it, I would, maybe. If I can guarantee myself not getting crazy side effects, because even thinking about it, I'm feeling nauseous.
All the celebrities are doing it.
Yeah, but now it's do you think they stopped doing it because now all the normies are doing it? It's no longer exclusive? Because before it could almost be like a brag. Yeah, I spend $1,500 a month to shoot myself with this stuff.
You're like, well, you're an idiot. I got it for $50.
Yeah, well, so now they're going to be like, well, now I'm not going to do this. Instead, I'm going to go back to transfusion of blood from baby deers or something. And that'll keep me young. I'm just saying. But yeah, you do what you. I would argue that you should probably not do this first. Maybe put this on your list. Talk to your doctor. Blah blah blah. But try to do it the healthier way, or the non-medicated way. There's lots of supplements you can take that can help. They're GLP-1 supplements that basically not necessarily mimic, but create the GLP production.
Suppress your appetite a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I take some supplements like that. Like the probiotic I'm on is called a GLP-1 probiotic. So, I feel it. And it's still going to be cheaper. Actually, no, some of the supplements I take are really expensive.
Or just get your stomach stapled shut. There you go.
But that's surgery. I don't want to do that. Just stop eating. Intermittent fasting.
Hypnosis. Just do hypnosis.
Hypnosis actually does work. You have to have the right personality for hypnosis to work, but that does work. 1-800-465-877. Ironically, I'm hungry right now. That seems wrong after that segment. I've got some Swiss cheese downstairs. Can you go get me just one slice? But don't use your hands. Like, get a glove or something. The Sunset Auto family are loyal supporters of Seattle Red and want you to know that every qualifying new and used vehicle comes with oil changes for life, which will save you thousands of dollars over the lifetime of your vehicle. So when you're ready for your next car or truck, be sure to visit our friends at the Sunset Auto family in Auburn and Sumner. When we come back, Washington education leaders are suddenly all in on AI in the classroom. That seems weird. Plus, Seattle Indivisible is going after Microsoft and gamer dweebs. We'll tell you why on the Jason Rantz Show. Don't forget, every Thursday we post our video update. We'll be doing that soon. This time on the Mamdani mess that Democrats find themselves in. The weekly video update is brought to you by your local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution.
eBay has reinvented vehicle buying. From click to curb, everything's covered. Ever try to buy a car online and end up in a parking lot with a stranger and some blind trust? That era is over. Now with Secure Purchase, eBay isn't just where you find your car. It's where you buy it, start to finish. Title, financing, registration, delivery, it's all built in. This is the modern way to buy your next ride on eBay. eBay. Things people love. Secure Purchase is powered by Caramel Dealer Services, LLC, an eBay subsidiary.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
At Washington Energy Services, we take the time to get to know you and your home. We have the passion and commitment to see each project through and to treat our work as more than just a job. For over 65 years, we've offered award-winning home services, from heating and cooling, plumbing and electrical, to windows and doors. Complete home improvement handled from start to comfort. For peace of mind when you need it most, count on Washington Energy Services, bringing good energy to your home.
Open enrollment for Medicare happens every year, but for a lot of people, it's still confusing. Hi, this is Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man. Don't worry, help is on the way with a Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit, brought to you by the Insurance Commissioner's SHIBA program. Find out what's changing and learn about your options for Medicare with 7 easy steps to get ready for open enrollment. Order your free copy of the Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit at insurance.wa.gov or pick up a copy at your local library or senior center.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. LeafFilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now the company's changed, or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-203-4400. That's 206-203-4400.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
This hour of the Jason Rantz Show is brought to you by General Transmission Repair.
Welcome back to the Jason Rantz Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Something tells me the Microsoft dweebs are not going to be giving up on their Microsoft Game Pass because the White House posted a Halo meme in support of ICE. Now, I'm vaguely familiar with Halo in that I played it, I think, for 7 minutes total and always lost within 7 seconds of respawning because some 10-year-old would kill me. But it's a shoot-'em-up game, some alien thing. I've seen the TV series Halo, which was actually really good. Season 1, at least.
Was that on like Paramount or something? Or
one of the streaming sites. And all it does is show one of the Halo characters in some Jeep with a turret gun on top, and it says, "Destroy the Flood. Join ICE." That's it. Now, Microsoft had nothing to do with it whatsoever, other than you can create memes or turn things into memes should you want to. But the radical group Seattle Indivisible is now telling people to cancel their Xbox Game Pass subscriptions, saying Microsoft is not speaking up to condemn the use of the meme. That's what the complaint is.
They're all coming out of their mother's basements.
Well, no, they're staying in their mother's basements because they're not canceling this. You're going after the wrong people, right? I mean, the people who are complaining are all boomers. These are the boomers who remember what it was like when they were younger activists, and now they're too old and their knees hurt, so they can't do the marches. So instead, they have to write emails with 2 fingers very slowly from their AOL accounts and Earthlink accounts, and they want you to call, according to their daily action bulletin, which I get every single day. They want you to call Microsoft, and they give you a script. They accuse the official White House of sharing an AI-generated imagery drawn from Microsoft's Halo video game to promote ICE and depict the president as a heroic figure. The president is not depicted in this at all, by the way. He is a hero when it comes to ICE, immigration enforcement, but he's not actually depicted in this meme. They say that Microsoft, quote, must threaten legal action and issue a strongly worded statement condemning the message of the ICE post. Microsoft should not remain silent as their intellectual property is co-opted to spread hate. I don't think they understand how this works. This is totally 100% legitimately legal. The ICE image is particularly disturbing, as it suggests undocumented immigrants are similar to the Flood, which in the world of Halo are an evil horde of alien zombies meant to be mowed down by the players. Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. They say Microsoft's subscription model makes them vulnerable to a boycott, which is why they are choosing to do this. Again, I imagine there, are gamers who are also crazy leftists. However, I'm guessing in that Venn diagram, there's not a huge overlap in politically active gamer nerds. That's just my guess. Halo in particular, I think is really popular amongst 15-year-old boys. Right? Isn't Halo for like teens to maybe mid-20 adult boys and men?
Maybe even like late elementary school-ish.
Okay, but
like
boys, right?
10 to, yeah.
The ones we can actually define.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think they're going to jump on board this. That's my guess. Maybe you should talk to the parents and just try to convince them to cancel their subscriptions, even if it's going to upset their kids if they really want to make a difference. They say in this, it's an easy target for immediate action, drawing parallels to, quote, mass cancellations of Disney Plus subscriptions. What happened with that? Did that work? They said it worked for a day, and then no one talked about the mass cancellations again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone cancels their content for longer than they either choose to because something good comes back on that they want to see, or they never really paid much attention to it, and this was just a reminder that they had it, so they canceled it.
I don't think anyone knows how. It's always incredibly hard.
Is it still hard?
It's on some of them, yeah.
So, and conservatives sometimes do this. I can't remember what the issue was. Conservatives wanting to cancel Netflix. What was it? Like 2 weeks ago?
Oh, yeah. Because of the, what was it?
They published something that people didn't like, and I remain in the camp of, do you like Netflix? Do you use Netflix? Okay. You don't have to deprive yourself of content you like because they put out something you don't. You don't have to react in that way.
Oh yeah, it was because Elon Musk was kind of promoting it. It was they had all the kids shows with a lot of like really weird LGBT stuff.
So
in it.
Here's the deal. I don't think you should cancel Netflix over it unless that's the only content that your kid has access to. Then that's completely different. But for example, I have a Netflix account, although I think it's free. I don't think I pay for it because of some code I use. But let's just assume that I pay for it. I'm sure I pay for lots of things that have objectionable content. I'm okay with Netflix making its decision to air content that I disagree with and find even repulsive if there's an audience for it in their view. That's what they do. I'm not the audience. I'm not going to give it my attention. But I like some stuff on Netflix. I've been screaming about House of Dynamite, which is the best movie of the year so far. So good. And my opinion on this matters so much that Jackson has seen it 3 times now, even after I said, okay, stop. I know I ordered you to watch it as a condition of your employment. You don't have to go so far and
I'm just
watch
going
it.
around the office quoting it. It's driving people insane.
Which is weird because people are like, why do you keep threatening a nuke on Chicago? What's going on here? And now they realize what it is. But I've gotten people in the office to watch it. I like it. I like that show with Kristen Bell, who all of a sudden got really old. And
that happens, yeah.
And Adam Brody. Is that his name?
Adam Brody?
Whatever his name is, the actor in it.
There's Adrian Brody.
Not him, his younger brother. Whoever that actor is in it. Nobody Wants This.
I haven't heard of that.
Yes, you have. This is where the Orthodox rabbi, the Jewish rabbi, falls in love with a goyim, and it's all about the families on both sides not quite understanding it. It's really good. It's a good show.
I'm looking. I've legitimately never heard of it.
We've talked about it on the show.
Have we?
Who's the actor in it?
Yeah, Adam Brody. Yeah.
Oh, so I was right. He's older than Kristen Bell. He's older than me, and he looks still like maybe he's in his mid-20s, which really upsets me.
He's kind of a baby face.
Yeah, that's very upsetting.
He's 45.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But the deer blood, I guess, the infusions we talked about.
And Kristen Bell is also 45.
She looks really old all of a sudden in this show.
What happened to when she was, Sarah Marshall?
Right? We forgot. Think anyone got that joke?
Very few, probably.
No one got that joke except for you and I. But no one's canceling Microsoft over this. Okay, this is Seattle Indivisible has to find, and I'm a little bit sympathetic to the problem for them. They have a daily bulletin where every single day they have to come up with something to pretend to be upset about, and then get someone into whatever call of action happens to be the case for the day. So they're like, what are we going to do? Let's just do another boycott email again, I guess. What can we... okay, let's just make a big deal about it. They got to do something every single day, so I'm sympathetic.
The blood pressure in that office must be sky high.
Well, they're on so many pills
Yeah.
to handle that, so they'll probably be okay. We've got the report up. If you want to actually see the meme, we've got it up at seattlered.com right now. I just find it funny that they think people are going to follow through on this stuff. I don't believe any of in most cases, I don't trust any campaign that says we've been successful in getting a boycott. Very few. And a couple times maybe on the left they were successful, a couple times on the right they were successful. But in the long term, it feels like everything just comes back.
The only one I can really think is the Anheuser-Busch thing. I feel like they never...
Disney initially clearly felt the push from conservatives in that case as well, because they actually were legitimately upset. And it was some LGBTQIA2S++ thing, and people said they were canceling their vacations and choosing not to go there. And I found that a little hard to believe until I saw a lot of receipts. I was like, okay, no, fair enough. Good on you. And maybe that's my issue, that I don't have...
You have no principles, Jason.
It's just none whatsoever.
No backbone.
That if you tell me I can't watch, the Great Bake Off cooking show on Netflix...
You cave.
I'm out. I found a cooking show a cooking competition show I like called Next Gen Chef, I think it's called. It's on Netflix. It's brand new. It's really good. And I don't watch television. So if I find something that I actually like, I'm very reluctant to cancel it because I have so little. All I watch basically is Fox News, gambling videos from Vegas Matt on YouTube, Dave Asprey videos on YouTube, and Veep on rerun. That's all I watch. Every once in a while, I'll throw in an I Love Lucy.
What about like Premier League soccer and all?
But I'm saying TV scripted content is what I mean. Yes, I watch soccer, but I can watch that on my phone and,
Yeah.
But if I'm going to watch something and I find something I really like, I'm in. Leave me alone. Stop asking me to boycott stuff. What's it to you? You cancel if you want. I'll find something that I pay for that I don't want to pay for, and I will jump on that boycott. It gives me a nudge in the right direction. And I'll go ahead and do that.
That's why the Bud Light boycott was so easy for me. Like when Bud Light's crap.
I will never drink Bud Light ever
it's terrible
again.
Anyway.
When was the last time I had a Bud Light? I don't think I've ever had a Bud Light because I don't drink, or very rarely. And the other issue for me at least, and this is very much a me issue. Although depending on your circumstance, on credit cards you can get freebies for, subscriptions to Paramount Plus and Peacock, for example. I get both of those for free because of 2 credit cards that I happen to have, and the perks are Paramount Plus and the other one. I almost never watch Peacock except for soccer and last Sunday's game, football. But Paramount, I couldn't tell. I'm assuming I've seen it once or twice before, but I don't use Paramount Plus. I keep it because it's free. And at some point, maybe there's going to be something on it that I do want to watch. I'm less likely, I'm not going to cancel something I don't pay for.
Yeah.
That just doesn't seem to be, I'm getting it for free. I'm already taking advantage of it. It, in fact, costs me money if I don't take advantage of it. So I'm not going to cancel.
It's not even really a boycott at that point anyway, because you're not.
Exactly. But again, it costs me. Even if I don't use it, I have it. Thus, it's free. And if I don't have it, I'm wasting the whatever monthly fee it is because I'm not taking advantage of the perk. Is that like a rich person problem? Well, you poor people have credit cards. You have a lot of credit cards. Right?
Yes, so yeah.
Okay, so you know what it is. You feel that you feel me.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Oh God, just can't get anything from you, Jackson. 1-800-465-8770 for your texts. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money. They've been averaging double-digit returns with 0 investor losses for 19 years. Contact Legacy Group Capital to find out why 1,300 plus local investors have invested over $350 million with Legacy Group Capital. They're online at legacyg.com. When will the government reopen? Will Nancy Pelosi still be in office at that time? She made a big announcement we'll make fun of when we come back. Plus, Washington educators want to use AI in the classroom all of a sudden. I think I know why. We'll get into it when we return on the Jason Ranch. Don't forget, Thursday means we have a weekly video update brought to you by your local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn of Nunn Better Tax Resolution. The videos are up on our social media channels this time, taking on the Mamdani problem.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Smarter clean in half the time. Brought to you by Swiffer Power Mop. Tired of the mop and bucket struggle? The Swiffer Power Mop gives you a mop and bucket clean without all the extra work. It's an all-in-one cleaning tool that mops smarter, not harder. With built-in solution that breaks down dirt and grime. And a pad with over 300 scrubbing strips to absorb and lock sticky messes. It even gets into places a regular mop can't. And leaves your home smelling fresh for hours. Try the Swiffer Power Mop today. Love it or your money back.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz here. 11.87% as the average used car financing rate is utter insanity. And you should not even entertain that. But you're saying to yourself, Jason, I need a car. Used right now works better for my financial situation. That's fine. I totally get it. That's why you go to the Sunset Auto family, because they're offering under 5% financing, under 5% for 72 months with no payments for 90 days on all qualifying vehicles 2015 and newer. On top of that, they'll give you top dollar for any trade-in, and they're going to throw in lifetime warranty protection on every qualifying vehicle. You do not have to be subject to an 11.87% used car financing rate or anywhere near that. Not when you can visit any Sunset Auto family dealership, where you just get more at Sunset. And people do like that. Sunset Kia in Auburn and Sunset Chevrolet and Sunset Ford in Sumner. All financing rates and terms are subject to credit approval on qualifying vehicles only.
A recent 5-star General Transmission Google review.
I had my 2018 Ford Mustang's transmission rebuilt at General Transmission, and I couldn't be more satisfied. Mark gave me a great deal, way more affordable than what the dealership quoted me. Not only did I save money, but the work was done quickly and professionally. Mark was honest and upfront throughout the whole process. I'll definitely be recommending him to friends and family. If you need your car fixed right, Mark at General Transmission is the guy to go to.
Is it time to get your home sold? Nick Southard with Upgrade Realty here. Selling hundreds of homes around the Sound for over 25 years has taught me presentation is everything. And with my luxurious marketing, you'll attract tons of buyers, sell fast at top dollar, and net more money. Because Upgrade Realty will save you thousands in fees for only 1% listing commission. To learn more, visit upgraderealty.com. Upgrade your listing for 1%. Upgraderealty.com.
Health insurance is broken, but it doesn't have to be. That's why Scan Health Plan was founded as a nonprofit, so we can create Medicare Advantage plans that focus on the real needs of seniors. We've been people first since 1977, and we're here to make Medicare work hard for you, because you deserve more than a broken system. You deserve a plan that fights for you. Visit scandifference.org to learn more. Scan Health Plan is an HMO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Scan Health Plan depends on contract renewal.
Hey, this is Pete from Home Matters, a show that covers everything having to do with your home. Tune in every Saturday from 2 to 3 on Seattle Red, where you'll hear from local business owners who are experts in their industries. From foundation to flooring, roofing and windows, furniture and financial planning, it's everything in and around your home, and we've got you covered here on Home Matters. If it matters to you, it matters to us here at Home Matters. Saturdays from 2 to 3 right here on Seattle Red, or listen to the podcast on mynorthwest.com.
Welcome back to the Jason Rantz Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. The Tacoma News Tribune has a story out about how Washington educators are suddenly leaning into using AI in the classroom. This, of course, comes after several months worth of stories in which they were doing the opposite. They were like, what do we do to stop this from happening? But then I think they made a realization. They came to a realization. You know what that realization was?
What?
This will make our job so much easier, and we can do even less and make exactly the same. In fact, knowing how our unions work, we can do less and then demand even more.
How dare you?
I know.
Teachers are saints.
They're heroes is what
completely beyond reproach.
Yeah. They say in the article, the goal is to embrace the inevitable as AI becomes more ubiquitous, a change from the approach educators took to the advent of social media. It comes after on Tuesday at the Cascadia Innovation Corridor Conference in Seattle that Brad Smith, the Microsoft president, said, hey, if you use our AI software, you're going to, just at the district level, be able to create streamlined bus schedules. You're going to be able to make more of tight budgets. And both of those statements are absolutely true. There's no doubt about it, in fact. He said, it's enabling educators to figure out how to put together lesson plans that are better tailored for students of multiple needs, and it is the future for students themselves. His argument, and the greater issue of AI is inevitable, that is 100% true, 100% true. And they should be embracing AI. I just suspect they're embracing it for perhaps the wrong reasons. I just suspect that they're going to use this as a way, not all teachers, but some are going to use this as a way to shortcut the work that they're otherwise doing. And I imagine there's going to be many of them who use it for grading.
I was just thinking, yeah.
Right? Just submit your essays via email, and I'll run it through the system and say, fact check this, grade this on a scale of 8, B, C, D, F, whatever. Here are the terms that I want you to use to, the characteristics you're to use to judge the content, and this is how you're going to grade. That's my guess. And if that's how it's used, students are not going to be well served, because at some point, Timmy's going to say to the teacher, why did I get a C on this? And the teacher's like, Perplexity said that you deserved a C. What do you want? OpenAI said you're not as smart as you should be.
They read about as much of that paper as Kamala Harris did of her own book.
100%. 100%. So I think that's going to ultimately harm the kids. Now, there are clearly ways for teachers to use this responsibly that both help their workload. And look, there's teachers who have really heavy workloads, just not throughout the entire year. And they could benefit from this. I just don't want it to become a tool to be lazy. And it's really easy to use AI as I try my best to push back against it. I could go into AI and upload my book and upload probably all my articles and say, learn my writing style. Based upon my writing style, take all of these, podcast segments I've done. Here's hours worth so you can understand what my ideological perspective is. Write me an article in my voice that condemns blah, 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 blah. And I've tested that out to see how close it is to my voice. It's pretty close. It's not quite close. You can kind of tell how AI operates and formats things. So it's not quite my voice. So I use it for editing purposes, and I use it for research. But I'm in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, it would be so easy for me to just cheat the system. Reach out to my editor at Hachette Center Street Books and say, I've got another idea for a book. I'll have it to you on Thursday. And then just send it on Wednesday and say, look, I was really motivated. But I don't know. I feel like I don't think I can own that. I would feel like I'm being lazy, and I'm not built that way, but a lot of people are. A lot of people are, and they just got to be careful. But you do have to implement it. I love the idea of implementing it, as Brad Smith said, for bus schedules, which are not easy to figure out. And you can just put in all the addresses of all the students you have to pick up and say, come up with the most efficient schedule to pick up all these students if pickup time starts at 7 or you want it to end at 8:15 or whatever it is. That is really awesome. And it's not like that kind of software hasn't existed before. It's just much better and more easily accessible. So they should definitely use it for that. Bringing it into the classroom, I don't know. You do have to figure out how to get kids not to cheat, and I don't know the answer to that. Because I recall doing a story several months ago where there was some service that you can put your AI-generated content into and say, make it sound more human so that an AI generator can't identify this as AI. So it's getting that smart. But can you do one step further? Say, okay, I want you to look up whether or not this went through a human generator so that it would pass an AI test. Like, how many levels can you put that through? This fascinating world we're living in.
And scary.
It's terrifying. And depending on what it is you do for a living, it's going to be more terrifying to you than it will be to others. It's somewhat less terrifying to me, although, as I've said, I've tested one of the voice services from AI. You read a bunch of sentences, and it takes about 10 minutes to read everything. And based on that, it's able to clone your voice. And it is so good that people don't realize this segment right now is AI generated.
Mm-hmm.
They have no idea. It did come pretty close. It can't get my range of voice, but if I just talk like this, and it's monotone the whole time, it's scary. It's spot on.
Luckily, AI could never produce a talk show, so I'm safe.
Yeah, neither can you. All the mistakes
kind of set myself up for that one.
You definitely did. That's on you. I don't even feel bad for being mean on that. You set yourself up. Punish yourself if you're upset. You should be upset with no one but yourself. It's the Jason Rantz Show.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonihan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Jason Rantz here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. So, Greg, not all tax resolution companies are the same. There are some that are definitely not local. You're getting someone in Topeka. There are others that don't quite know what they're doing even.
Well, I tell you, these ads that all of us hear, Fresh Start program, they make it sound so easy, and it's not. People get this idea that you can just barter with the IRS about anything, and that just isn't the case. But they make you feel that way. They make you feel like, hey, man, I can just easy peasy get my taxes written off. No. But they make it sound easy, and they get you in the door typically with a pretty small initial fee, and then maybe you'll get work done or maybe you won't. And I've had several clients actually come to me after going through that process, and they just get no response after a while. They're passed around from person to person. That doesn't happen at my firm.
You are familiar with the cases that come in. You're working on them.
I'm familiar with every case that comes into our office, and I know what's going on and have the ability to really advise our clients, taxpayers, very well on what to do. We're good at it.
Yeah, and things change all the time with the IRS.
Oh, things change. I'd like to say almost every week, but that might be overkill. But at least every month, I learn something new. They change policies or procedures, and then, you got to do something different that you used to do one way for a long time.
Yeah, it seems almost like a full-time job just tracking the changes.
And even in this small little area of IRS niches, if you will, is the resolution. And just that component takes immense amount of time, effort, and hours to keep on top of. And I've been at this now for 12 years. And even after 12 years, I'm still learning things.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn. None Better Tax Resolution, from stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
Seattle Red on 770 KTTH Seattle, 97.3 KIRO-FM, HD3 Tacoma, Seattle, 94.5 K233 DT Eastlake, 33 BU Seattle.
The number of dead rising. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Authorities in Louisville, Kentucky now say at least 13 people have died in Tuesday's crash of a UPS cargo plane.
Weeks before a UPS cargo plane's fiery crash in Louisville, flight records show the 34-year-old jet was grounded for more than 6 weeks for repairs on a crack in its fuel tank, according to FAA maintenance records obtained by the Wall Street Journal. NTSB investigators are looking into the aircraft's entire maintenance history, including why the plane's takeoff was delayed more than 2 hours Tuesday for unspecified reason. Another big focus is the MD-11's engine that caught fire during takeoff and fell off the plane moments before it plummeted to the ground and exploded.
Fox's Garrett Tenney in Louisville. Teamsters Local 89, which represents UPS workers, held a candlelight vigil today, which began at 5:14 with a moment of silence, the approximate time of the crash. The Trump administration has filed a notice of appeal after a federal judge set a deadline of tomorrow for it to fully make SNAP or food stamp benefit payments for this month. The USDA said it would only be able to provide partial funding by using a contingency fund. No well wishes from President Trump to a former House Speaker who's retiring from Congress.
Asked for any reaction to former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announcing she won't run for another term, President Trump responded.
I think she's an evil woman. I'm glad she's retiring. I think she did the country a great service by retiring.
Pelosi served as House Speaker during President Trump's first term, overseeing a pair of impeachments of the president. Pelosi has represented her San Francisco district since 1987. In 2007, she became the first and only woman elected Speaker of the House.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Lawmakers remain at an impasse on day 37 of the government shutdown. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes, and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The yellow light! God, I'm walking here! I'm walking!
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Jason Rantz Show. We are here live on Seattle Red 770 AM. We are streaming live on SeattleRed.com and the Seattle Red app. We got a lot to get to, not too much time left to do it. Sydney Sweeney, she's definitely not going to apologize for having good genes. And she doesn't apologize in the most amazing way possible. Some might say beautiful. She's very, very pretty. But first, we just got an updated drop in ballots. Some interesting numbers. That's what's trending. Brought to you by the Sunset Auto family.
What's trending? Let's get political.
So yesterday, it dawned on us that Bruce Harrell hanging on to 7.5-ish, 8-point lead was significant. And it was in a way. But once we started to look at the data in greater detail, it became more clear that that was still part of the first batch of votes. It wasn't the onslaught of the progressive votes, which is why when you looked at all of the numbers, it was pretty consistent from the day before, that the people who were in the lead, they maintained their lead. The people who weren't picked up a little bit, but not all that much. Nothing really changed. And it dawned on all of us that, oh, wait a minute. We live in Washington State where it's really slow for them to count ballots.
It really does take forever.
It's just weird how really awful it is. And now we just got an update. in numbers. And at this point, the question becomes how many of the new votes are going towards Katie Wilson versus Bruce Harrell. And I know you're thinking, well, isn't that how you count votes? Yes, but in Seattle, generally speaking, the people who vote on the day of the election are the most progressive of progressive. And so you have to see how many points of the progressive votes are going towards the quote-unquote progressive to really get a sense of whether or not you're going to see someone closing the gap. Because that's really all this is for Katie Wilson now, closing the gap. That's it. Well, she's closing the gap. It's not a guarantee that she wins. It is going to be very, 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 very close. Wilson was able to pull, out of today's drop of a little over 36,000 votes, she was able to pull in 51.63% of those numbers. So she's up by 1,275 in this batch. Now, she's still losing by about 5.5-ish points to Harrell. So Harrell goes from 8-ish points to 5-ish points. She's going to have to pull in about 55% of the votes as of yesterday. So now you got 51% she was able to pull in. So she's below the percentage that she would need to pull in for mathematically for this to make sense, which means tomorrow's dump, you're going to have to see her pull a little bit more than 55%, right? So theoretically, it's possible because these are now the votes are progressive votes, the most progressive of progressive votes. And there's about 100,000 votes left to count. So theoretically, we might not even know tomorrow. But this is what you look for. Tomorrow, let's say she pulls in 60% of the vote that's remaining. She's looking very good. If she pulls in 51% of the remaining vote, she's looking still okay, but it's obviously marginally more difficult for her to make up the gap. And so Bruce Harrell today is probably saying, okay, this is going to be tight, but I'm going to be able to pull this one off because she needed 55%. What are the chances of her getting 57% of the vote tomorrow or more? And I don't know the answer to that. None of us know the answer to that. But this is an interesting development. This is going to be really close. This is going to come down to probably 1 or 2 percentage points. And that is, even though, Bruce Harrell just wants a victory, right? That's what he's after. He doesn't care how he gets it. It's still embarrassing. It's a bad look if he's not able to pull out a clear 5-point victory against someone who has no experience whatsoever, no name value outside of what she was able to develop over the course of the last 4 months, right? That's just not a good look against someone like Bruce Harrell. So we'll continue to look at these numbers and see where they head. But you've got about 100. There might be a little more than 100,000 votes left because today, again, the number was 36,000. We kind of expected today 110,000. So you do the math, you can figure that part out. I don't know what's going to happen. And the general consensus from the dweebs on X who follow the numbers, the analysts, I just talked briefly with a friend of mine who's very, very far to the left and does this, but we have a really good relationship. And, he's not sure where this is going to go, but says that Wilson didn't do what she needed to do in today's drop. But that doesn't mean she can't do what she now needs to do tomorrow. It's just a little bit more difficult for her. But at the end of the day, this is going to be close. And one thing we know, regardless of how the Seattle mayor numbers come out, you've got a clear leftward shift yet again in Seattle and around this region. So last election, you started to see the moderation a bit, right? The moderates started to win, the Sarah Nelsons of the world. You even had a Republican in Ann Davison. But the voters then said, let's go back to where things were. And that's the Seattle voter. Saul Spady's going to be on the show at 5:30, and he and I talked yesterday and a little bit this morning ahead of the interview. And, he notes that Seattle voters are impatient in a lot of ways. And if they're willing to give you a little bit of, some I don't know, a leash to be quote unquote more moderate or be whatever to get the job done, they'll go ahead and give it to you, but you only have a short leash. It's a really short leash. But the system, the way it is in Seattle, is built to be really slow. Have you ever heard the phrase, the Seattle process?
No.
So that's an insider bit of language. Activists will use it a lot. But the Seattle process is essentially, let's set up 14 committees before we have the real committee to do the work that the next committee is going to do before implementing a committee to get it done. Everything is slow. Everything by design is slow. And so if you're an impatient public, you're always going to make these kinds of changes. But kudos to Katie Wilson for sticking in it, as long as she did. It's not done. It's a little bit more narrow for her, but it's going to be a close race. Meanwhile, you've got people who are obviously kind of finding themselves in a tough spot. Maybe they don't like the fact that Katie Wilson's so far to the left, but at the same time, you can't really say Harold has done much for you. At least that's how you're feeling. And there's this one woman, Alyssa, who runs the Station Coffee Shops, who spoke with Como, who said, yeah, Harold hasn't been awful, but I'm going to go with Katie.
I think affordability is a huge issue right now in the city of Seattle. I appreciate everything that Bruce Harrell has done so far, but I'm a fan of what Katie has in mind. I'm hoping that after this election, we see some positive change, no matter how it falls.
Feels like she's probably not the manager of that particular coffee shop, and maybe just a worker there. Because I don't know how many business owners are saying, yes, let's get someone who's going to raise taxes.
She very much looked like a barista.
How dare you? Just because she has purple hair and 14 piercings and a she, him, her on her button.
I didn't mean it as pejorative. It just,
Oh, okay. Well, then that was very nice of you. Susan is a resident. She wants to see Harold get a second term now that the council is more left-wing.
I would just as soon see Mayor Harold continue because now we have some very progressive people on the city council.
Okay.
I couldn't tell if she meant that as in now that there's progressives on the council, he can really get some stuff done, or now it's more left-wing, so I want the more moderate
I'm guessing
mayor.
That's what she meant. That's my guess, because otherwise her sentence structure would not really make too much sense. But she is a person on the street audio sound clip, so it doesn't mean she has to make any sense whatsoever.
I think both candidates didn't really make any great impact on me or most of my friends either.
That's a bigger problem for Harold than it is for Katie Wilson, because Katie Wilson was able to motivate the base. It's just about everybody else. Was she able to bring some people over versus everyone over? Harold needed to bring a lot of people over.
I am more a leftist myself, so I think Seattle can always do better on making sure that poor people and working class people can have their basic needs met.
She's a leftist herself. I don't know how old she is, so I don't know how many times she's voted. She sounds young. She looked kind of young. But at what point does someone say, I think left-wing policy is the future for helping the poor, the marginalized, blah, blah, blah. And then they look at the results and say, instead of we didn't go far enough to the left, maybe that is the problem, going to the left. And I'm asking that sincerely of people like that woman and others who seem to always have an excuse when they implement their ideological agenda and then bad things happen. And they never seem to say, okay, maybe we went a little bit too far. Instead, it's, we didn't go far enough. Why the disconnect?
It's the old, real socialism has never been tried.
Yeah, and I don't know if you could ever placate someone whose go-to response to failure is always, we didn't go far enough. Doesn't that seem endless? So you implement socialism in New York with Mamdani. Well, he wasn't allowed to be a real socialist. He got us one step closer.